What's up, YouTube? It's Heretic here, and I'm back with another deck that we're looking at for you guys today here from the World Championships. Today we are looking at Jesper Eriksen's first place Seniors Division Yanmega Vespiquen, sorry about that, deck that he used to win the Seniors Division, as I said, of the 2016 Pokemon Trading Card Game World Championships out in San Francisco this past weekend. So, Yanmega, a card that I really had had set a pretty high bar for as far as what it's capable of doing, higher, I think, than a lot of people who I kept getting told, like, well, I don't think it's that great right now, I don't think it's going to do anything. So when it ended up doing pretty well at Worlds and winning the Seniors Division, I was pretty happy to see that. Congrats to Jesper for his performance and for winning Worlds in the Seniors Division. So anyway, we're going to take a look at his list here, and then we're going to play a couple games with it. So he runs off of Yanmega as one of his primary attackers. Of course, Yanmega has the Sonic Vision ability, which states that if you have exactly 4 cards in your hand, you get to ignore all energy attack costs for this Pokemon's attack. So that means that for no energy at all, Yanmega can use Assault Boom, which deals 50 damage, and then if your opponent's active Pokemon has a Pokemon tool attached to it, you add 70 more damage. So 120 total. It also has the benefit of having a fighting type resistance, which is kind of nifty in a pinch, I guess. Could be useful. And it has a lightning weakness rather than the grass type Pokemon's usual fire type weakness, playing off of Yanmega's flying half in the video game as opposed to its bug half. So that's a pretty nifty little thing you could do there, dealing at least 50 damage free of cost. And if they don't have that Pokemon tool to buff you up to 120, you can also Break Evolve Yanmega, at which point you get the Barrier Break attack, which, again, with 4 cards in hand, costs no energy due to Yanmega's Sonic Vision ability. And Barrier Break just deals a straight 100 damage, ignoring weakness, resistance, and all other effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So while it can't hit for weakness against stuff like Seismitoad in the finals, or Jesper's finals match, or against stuff like Primal Kyogre or anything else along those lines, it still can cut through some other stuff that you might not be able to hit otherwise, like, say, Glaceon EX using the Crystal Ray attack, and anything else that might be able to shield itself from such a thing. Now, cards like Garbodor and Hexmaniac and Wobbuffet and all that stuff do exist that can shut down abilities, so Yanmega needs an attacking partner. So we have Vespiquen from Ancient Origins, a pretty simple choice here. Be Revenge for 2 colorless or 1 double colorless energy, dealing 20 damage plus 10 more damage for each Pokemon in your discard pile. And like Yanmega, it is a grass-type Pokemon, meaning both of them can gain immense benefits from the Forest of Giant Plants, allowing you to evolve your grass-type Pokemon on the first turn or the same turn they come into play. So on turn 1, you could evolve a Yanmega Break and a Vespiquen to have a couple of attackers on the board and ready. We also run a 1/1 Ariados, which has a unique ability called Poisonous Nest. Once during your turn, before attacking, you may inflict poison to both players' active Pokemon, except for Grass-type Pokemon. So this is great against Shaman EX, for example. You can do 100 damage with Yanmega Break's attack. That extra 10 damage from the poison would be enough to knock it out, and since all of our Pokemon, except for our own 3 copies of Shaman EX, are Grass-type, we're probably not going to be poisoning ourselves. So that just works out as a really solid way to get 10 extra damage onto something. Kind of works like a pseudo plus power, if that makes any sense. So just an interesting little 1/1 tech line that's good for certain things. You could also use it to get around stuff like Focus Sash if you really wanted to, or if you ran into a match like that. So that's our Pokemon lineup. 24 Pokemon might seem a little light for a Vespiquen deck, but with all these Yanmegas dedicated as attackers, we can make that work out. And then late game come in with Vespiquen, use our double colorless energy, and just make that thing wail away for some big damage. So our item line, unlike most Vespiquen decks that run 4 battle compressors, since we're focusing on Yanmega early game, we're only running 2 copies. Can still get Pokemon in the discard pile for Vespiquen to use, and can also get our supporters in the discard pile so we can VS Seeker to retrieve them. We run 2 Level Ball and 4 Ultra Ball for Pokemon Search. All of our basic Pokemon, all of our basic grass-type Pokemon, excuse me, as well as Ariados and Vespiquen are all available as level ball targets. So more search power there, as well as the 4 Ultra Ball. We also have 1 Revitalizer to retrieve our grass types from the discard pile and immediately evolve them with Forest of Giant Plants. And we have 1 special charge to retrieve our double colorless energy, since we don't really have room for 4 puzzles. So, pretty well crafted item lineup here. Of course, 4 VS Seekers to round it out. Pretty much the standard these days, and has been for a while now. So Jesper did a pretty good job with this list here. And we got 1 AZ as we get into our supporters. 2 copies of Judge. Very, very powerful card, both on the first turn when you start and also just in Yanmega in general, as it puts exactly 4 cards into your hand, meaning you can draw your 4 cards and then launch Yanmega's attacks free of charge due to the Sonic Vision ability. We also have 1 copy of Lysander, 2 N, and 4 copies of Professor Sycamore, because you pretty much always play 4 of him. And then we have 4 Forest of Giant Plants to speed to our attackers, 4 Bursting Balloon. This is probably for the Night March matchup, I would think. We also have the plus power style effect in Ariados' Poisoning, which means Muscle Band isn't really a huge deal. So we can use Burst Balloon freely and let us get some extra KOs on the Night March attackers and turn that matchup in our favor. And then lastly, 4 double colorless energy so that Vespiquen can initiate its attacks as well. So that is Vespiquen Yanmega. We're going to play a couple games here and see how Jesper's deck works in game. So let's get going. Okay, so here it goes. And a fire deck. Ooh. Well, that hits Vespiquen for weakness, but I'm not really too bummed about that. I think I'm okay playing against fire. I mean, our attackers are pretty low HP, except for Yanmega Break, and he's weak to lightning, so that's okay. And so we're going to get stuck with Spinarak as our active starter. That stinks. So what does our opponent have? Okay, so let's see. Max Elixir, Assault Vest, so maybe like an Entei deck. I'd like to see Volcanion, but, you know, I kind of have my doubts. So, again, a mulligan. We see a Ranger, a Giovanni's, a Hex. We see a Mega Houndoom. Wow. Alright. Well, that means you're probably using a Spirit Link, so I can be okay with that, because that'll make Yanmega's attack do more damage. And even regular Yanmega, you'll have to do some discarding, or need to attach some burning energy to get a knockout here. So we'll get our extra couple of cards, and oh, that doesn't, well, the N helps, I guess, so we'll just go ahead and do that, and we can level ball here for a Yanma. And we'll try to save our Vespiquens for later in the game. We don't have a forest, so let's see here. I think I'm just going to play the N. Don't really mind shuffling all that back in since no Forest of Giant Plants. Okay. So we get a Combee. And we get a Lysander. Let's just actually go ahead and toss those out. We can go find a Shaman. And we'll also be able to play this Battle Compressor. So we can throw one of our Vespiquens away since we dropped a Combee. And let's see. Go ahead and drop a Professor Sycamore. Well, no, we have one in hand. We're fine. My bad, that was kind of a boo-boo. So we'll drop an AZ and a Judge, I think. That sounds good. And then we can set up here, gain 4 cards. And there's the Forest of Giant Plants. So we can go ahead and throw that down, evolve into Yanmega. And we also have an Ultra Ball here that we can play, discarding these 2. And we'll just go ahead and, well, do we want the, no, I actually don't want the break now. I'm going to go grab just another Yanma in this scenario here. And then we're just going to pass with a Sycamore in our hand and hopefully, you know, I guess hopefully he doesn't play a Delinquent. And that was one thing I'm noticing with this list right away, is that outside of AZ, we don't have any switching options. So getting that Spinarak stuck in the active spot here this game, or is that we would actually have to burn a double colorless energy to retreat that thing. And that is a little bit on the frustrating side. So we see Scorched Earth, and our opponent then discards a Fire Energy to use Scorched Earth, now playing an Ultra Ball. We see Ranger and another Scorched Earth into the discard pile with the Ultra Ball. And we'll see if he goes for a Volcanion, or if he runs it. Looks like we're just going to see a Houndoom here. And so he can also, even if his deck isn't built for it, he can go with the milling strategy too, with Melting Horn. We do see a Burning Energy and a Professor Sycamore. Discards a Fire Energy and a VS Seeker. There's the Houndoom Spirit Link. And here's a Max Elixir. No energy off that. So we'll see here. Looks like he's just going to pass his turn. So we draw into a VS Seeker there. And we're just going to go ahead and play this Professor Sycamore. Try to set some stuff up. Okay, and we do get another Yanmega. We also get an Ariados here. So we can put those into play. And go ahead and throw Combee down on the bench. And we'll go ahead and use Poisonous Nest here to get the 10 damage from poison. And we can do a Compressor here as well. And we can throw probably one of these Break Evolutions out, because I don't think we're going to need them too much. Let's see here. I think that's probably about all we need to do. That'll give us one more Pokemon for a late game Vespiquen run. And that's unfortunately what we got. I'm not going to play the Bursting Balloon just yet. I'd rather save that for the use of Yanmega, where we can lay down a big attack and then Bursting Balloon for a potential recoil on this Houndoom. So our opponent uses Scorched Earth again, discards a Fire Energy, grabs 2 more cards, and evolves into Mega Houndoom. So now we've got a bit of an interesting Pokemon to deal with here. Attaches an energy to Shaman, so he'll be able to free retreat, cure off the poison, and here we're going to see, I'm guessing, a Blacksmith or something to try and bulk that up. Okay, we see a Mega Turbo, and so he's going to end up being able to knock us out now. Does he have a Lysander is the question here, or is he just going to take the knockout on our Ariados? He does have a Lysander, so he's going to bring Yanmega up, and he'll have to discard, but I don't think that's too big a deal since one of his energies is a Burning Energy. So he'll get his Burning Energy back. Vespiquen, or I'm sorry, Yanmega bites the dust, so we'll bring the other one out. And we'll be able to try to take advantage of that Bursting Balloon now, too. We do get another Combee, which I don't think we're really too much in need of at the moment. We can go ahead and put the Burst Balloon down on Yanmega and play a Professor Sycamore here. And so we do get the Break Evolution, which we probably don't need right now, all things considered. So we need to get 3 cards out of our hand. So we can play a Level Ball here for one of them, and go grab a Yanma. And we don't even need to play the Forest of Giant Plants here. So we can play the Yanma. We can... let's see. I don't think the health really makes much of a difference here. We're going to be able to put 130 on him. So I think in this instance, we're just going to play the Vespiquen down. And I really hate to waste one of those. I think we're just going to play our Stadium and hold our Bursting Balloons and our Break Evolution. And then we're going to go ahead and use Poisonous Nest. So we'll be able to get 10 damage off the poison. And then we can use Assault Boom for 120 damage and force him to get an energy and discard it again. Plus he will continue to take damage from both Poison and Bursting Balloon, which would put him at 10 damage away from a knockout if he were to take all 70 of that. So we do see a VS Seeker, so he's going to grab a Lysander and work around the Bursting Balloon here and bring out our Vespiquen. And interesting that he chose Vespiquen and not Shaman, but he won't have to discard. Not that it would make much difference with 2 Burning Energies there. So we will see an Inferno Fang here. And so he's going to choose to discard him anyway, so he's going to get more damage. Maybe a daily challenge thing could be helped out there. I mean, it's what it is. So we'll go ahead and just bring Vespiquen back, or Vespiquen, my goodness, I'm all over the place with this. Yanmega back up, and we can go ahead and do the Break Evolution now I'll go ahead and do that as opposed to doing the Burst Balloon. And then we can just use Assault Boom here. Take a knockout on this Mega Houndoom. And we'll be right there in the prize trade. And claim 2 prize cards. So we'll be able to play our Bursting Balloons come our turn. We've also got enough now on the board to simply Barrier Break for a knockout. So we get end into 4 cards exactly. So we're not going to complain about that too much. Just going to, between these 4 and whatever we draw, we just need to be able to play one of them, which is definitely doable. We do see an Entei come onto the board. We have a Lysander ready in the discard pile. If he puts a Pokemon tool onto that Entei, we can simply knock it right out. So I wonder, you know, I think he's got to kind of be thinking about that. We see an Ultra Ball here. He discards a Super Rod and a VS Seeker to probably go for a Shaman. That's what we're going to see. So let's see where that Shaman takes him with a 6-card setup now. And one thing I can't help but notice is we have still not seen a double colorless energy. 18 cards left in our deck, and no double colorless have shown themselves yet. So this is an interesting scenario to be a part of here. Of course, we don't exactly have the Combi or the Vespiquen to work with. We've only got 1 Combi actually left in the deck, but we also do have Revitalizer, which could bring it back. So we could also do things that way. And we'll see what our opponent has here. We do see a Max Elixir, so he could be just trying to go and get like a Flame Screen or something off here. We do see a Fire Energy played onto the Entei and a pass of the turn, so no Pokemon tools. Probably a wise play on our opponent's part there. So we can just, let's see, is there a supporter we want to use maybe? Thinking probably not right now, so we can just bench this Yanma. And that will put our hand count at 4. And then we can use Barrier Break here for the knockout. And we will be able then next turn, at least hopefully, unless we get end again, we should be able to Lysander up the Shaman and finish the game that way. We can always bench our Shaman and not draw any cards if it comes to that. So we do see another energy get attached to Entei, and we see a Professor Sycamore, so that should put us in winning position here. Flame Screen only prevents the damage done to Entei, or in terms of damage reduction, and of course Barrier Break would cut right through that anyway. So if he puts a Pokemon tool on it, we could just knock it out, but I don't think that's going to matter. He really needs to find a way to knock us out right now, and I don't think that's going to be available since he's already manually attached. His Entei is in the active spot, so it is out of Max Elixir range, and he's already played a supporter. So we do see a 30 damage Flame Screen, but in this instance here, since he bumped our Stadium, we can just bump it right back, attach this Bursting Balloon, and then play a VS Seeker here where we can grab Lysander. And we'll simply use Lysander to bring up Shaman, which can end the game because we can use Poisonous Nest here, get the 10 damage off the poison, and then Barrier Break for 100 on top of it. The poison damage will knock out Shaman and grant us our final 2 prize cards for the game here. So that is game 1 with Yanmega Vespiquen. Jesper Eriksen's Seniors Division World's winning deck. So we're going to do one more now. Okay, so maybe a Vespiquen Night March here. Did see Psychic, Lightning, Colorless, and Grass. Seems like something that we would run into. So we're going to lose the coin flip, and we're going to see if he... Okay, he is going to choose to have us go first. Makes a lot of sense. So we're going to try and see if we can't get a Bursting Balloon down. We also do open with a Judge, and that's huge. That is a big card to have on the first turn, especially when you're with something that can be extremely disruptive, and on the first turn keeping a Night March player all the way down to a 4-card opening hand. Absolutely brutal. Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and we should be able to rely on Yanmega to do most of the heavy lifting here. So we're going to dump a 1/1 Vespiquen into the discard pile. And we can also go ahead and drop a Professor Sycamore, since we ourselves are going to be down to 4 cards, so we have to be ready for that. We'll put Spinnerack down, play down the Forest of Giant Plants, and we will judge our opponent right down into a 4-card hand. And we do draw the VS Seeker off of it, so very, very grateful now that I compressed that Sycamore out of there. Because there's not really much else we can do at the moment. Because we drew the wrong evolution yet again, something that is bound to happen in decks like this where you play a lot of evolution cards. So he does draw the Dimension Valley, knocks out our Forest, and plays a Shauna, which is an interesting choice for a Night March deck. So we'll see what he's able to do now. We do see a Combi come down onto the bench, an Unknown as well, so he'll be able to Farewell Letter that for 1 card and buff Vespiquen's eventual attack by 10 more damage. And the most he's going to need to hit is 140, but he doesn't get an attack, so that's pretty big. We can go ahead and just knock the Dimension Valley right out of there, and VS Seeker for that Professor Sycamore that we had last turn. No point in judging when he's already at 4 cards. So we'll just play the Sycamore, draw our stuff out, and we draw a decent hand. Not great, but we can try to make something happen here with this. We can go ahead and get rid of the special charge for now, and I'm going to discard the end since we have a Shaman. So we have Yanmega in the discard pile already, as well as a Vespiquen line. So we need to get Yanma on the board right now. And then we can use this Revitalizer here to grab Combi and Yanmega. So we'll be able to evolve into Yanmega here, and then directly into Yanmega Break. And then we've got a Combi, and we can Shaman and set up for 5 cards here. And then we'll just need to play 2 of them. Hopefully we get a Vespiquen. Probably should have grabbed one of those prior to, but we can level ball for 1. Probably should have grabbed the Vespiquen instead of the Combi off that Revitalizer. It's kind of a silly play. So we can go ahead, evolve into Vespiquen, gain free retreat, and then we'll play the other level ball as well to search for a Yanma. Could have also grabbed Ariados there, but this will allow us to next turn put another Yanmega into play. And then we just retreat into Yanmega Break, and we can use Assault Boom is plenty enough damage to knock out this Joltik. And there is our first prize. We draw another Yanma. So next turn we'll be able to evolve into Yanmega, and if we get knocked out, we can simply bench another Yanma as well. If he knocks our Stadium, we've got Forest. Hopefully something happens or we draw a playable card, because otherwise we've got a few dead cards in our hand. But getting that all-important first knockout as well. And so we see another Shauna, so interesting to see Night March playing even 1 copy of Shauna, but 2 copies. Very, very interesting. Not sure I agree with that. We also see a level ball, something that I guess you could see in Night March, but I personally would never have space for it. So this is a very interesting list, to say the least. We do see Vespiquen and an Ultra Ball, so he's gonna discard a Battle Compressor now. Wow. Okay. I am officially intrigued by that. He does grab a Shaman, perhaps holding a Professor Sycamore. But discarding Compressor, I'm not sure that's something you want to be doing when you're trying to fill up your discard pile. That just seems a little off to me. But I don't know, maybe I'm missing some super secret strategy here. We do see Joltik, which can hit Yanmega for weakness, so that's got to be a little bit of a concern. We see Battle Compressor played now, so Lampent's incoming. And then we'll see if he's able to get that double colorless. We do see 2 Lampents and a Pumpkaboo go to the discard pile off that Compressor. And so he does retreat into Pumpkaboo, or I'm sorry, not Pumpkaboo, into Joltik. Man, I'm just Pokemon tongue-tied. But he attaches a Lightning Energy to his Vespiquen instead of attaching the double colorless. So we're just going to evolve this one into Yanmega. Go ahead and throw a Bursting Balloon down. And we're going to do another Assault Boom knockout on this Joltik here. So we avoid the weakness attack. And we draw into a Vespiquen. So we'll be able to play that to evolve evolve our Combi. But again, what we are able to use is going to depend on primarily what we end up drawing if we're able to continue to attack with Yanmega next turn. And I guess we probably should have retreated into the other Yanmega here and conserved our break evolution. So he's going to go ahead and do VS Seeker for Shauna. And the reason I say we should have conserved our break evolution is because that is the one that can knock out this Vespiquen, while our regular one cannot. And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Pokemon in his discard. So he's only doing 90, so he's going to retreat, not attack. We draw another Bursting Balloon, so once again we will be able to swing with Vespiquen. So we're going to retreat this time, bring out the other one, slap a Bursting Balloon on there, and we'll do... Oh, and that, ladies and gentlemen, was a misplay, because we're actually not knocking him out. We should have left the break evolution out there that time. So don't learn from me, ladies and gentlemen. Learn from Jesper Eriksen, who won Worlds with this. That was a stupid, boneheaded play. I guess the one bright side here is if he does manage to attack us, he goes down, but 60 HP, that would have happened anyway. Ugh. Talk about bad plays. Maybe it's good I didn't have a Worlds invite. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Why did we do that? Why? Cue the comments pointing out my misplay. So we do see a double colorless energy on this Pumpkaboo. So we'll see if he knocks us out. There's a battle compressor. It's already got 6 Night Marchers in there. It's got plenty. We do see another Lampent and a Sycamore, so my guess is he had that other Lampent in his hand before he Shauna'd. Now we're going to see VS Seeker for a Sycamore instead. A little better draw card there. We do see Teammates, and it looks like Special Charge. Yep, that went to the discard pile. So we'll see what he's able to do now. Of course, like I said, we do have the Bursting Balloon waiting to knock out any incoming attacker. Any incoming Night Marcher, I should say. And so instead he opts to pass his turn. So we're going to be able to knock him out, and so he's just going to forfeit here. So misplays and all, we were able to make Bursting Balloon have the intimidation factor of either pass your turn, which is what he chose to do, and we'll get ahead on prizes that way, or attack into it, get KO'd, and then we'll KO something else on our turn, and we'll get ahead on prizes in that method. So Bursting Balloon, really just an incredible card against Night March. And so even though we made that boneheaded misplay, I think we're still able to show how this deck does against Night March. A big, big matchup that you need to have for anything really going into Worlds. Even though Night March didn't win anything, you know, I think that was proven by people being able to metagame against it with not just Trevenant, but all kinds of different decks, like Vespiquen and Yanmega. We also saw the Seismitoad Crobat deck that ended up taking the runner-up spot, which was in the Seniors Division as well. Masters, of course, we had yesterday's Mega Audino deck, and we also had the Greninja deck that got runner-up. We had another Greninja also in top 8 in Masters, as well as Ross Cawthon's Eviltal Vespiquen deck. A lot of cool stuff. We saw the Vileplume box from Sam Hoof. So just a lot of crazy stuff going into top 8. So let me know if there are any more Worlds decks that you guys would like to see me go over here. And as far as Sam's deck goes with the Ninja Boy, since it is still not able to be played on Pokemon Trading Card Game Online, I can't do that one just yet. But if the list does not run Ninja Boy, feel free to let me know. If it does, you can still say something. I'll probably just look at it here in a bit, assuming that that bug with Ninja Boy gets fixed on here before rotation happens. So, anyway, that's all I got for you guys now, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.